Like the Mormons, the ICGJC believes the native people of New World came here by boat, or America by boat. In 474 BC, he says, black Hebrews from the southern kingdom of Israel, oppressed by Syrian overlords, fled to the New World in sailboats. In his lecture, Bishop Jean said that black Hebrews had led England until Charlemagne came in 1711. The much mythologized French king is typically said to have ruled during the French expansion of the Middle Ages in the late 700s, and is not generally credited with invading Britain, and honour usually attributed to William the Conqueror, who defeated Harold II at Hastings in 1066. He asked Bishop Jean what happened in 1711. He responded by clarifying a different point. He said his ancestors actually ruled Europe until 1810. When the last stronghold of black Hebrews fell in Russia. Okay, the author said, but what happened with Charlemagne, in 1711? What do you mean? In 1810, he says? No, 1711. Jean demurs. He sort of hesitates, right? He's not too sure, he says. He's not a Charlemagne historic person. As for the decline of black power in Europe, he says there was no cataclysmic events, it was a slow defeat. It was gradual, he says. They lost power over Russia, which white people took over. How? Different ways, he says. A lot of them through war, through marriage. And whether the descendants of our great Hebrew forefathers like Shakespeare and Mozart, a lot of them stayed in Europe, he says. They moved into the poor neighbourhoods where they still reside today. You can find this the kindred, of the descendants of Shakespeare and Mozart in the black slums of Europe. Jean doesn't have a problem with answering whether white people are evil. They are, he says, the children of Satan. It's folly to believe what they say or to participate in the system. Folly or foolish. And that's his comment about European people, not ours. The Lord said, never trust thine enemy, he says. How can you trust the devil? It doesn't make no sense. The author tried to think of a good devil. What about Gandhi? He asked. He did some good things. Was he following Satan too? Yeah, of course, the bishop says. Yeah, well, Gandhi apparently, according to his grandson and the secretary, the guy that did the biography of him or followed him around most of his life, said that he was actually, in a sense, biased or racist against Africans. He went there and he looked at their housing, their mud huts, etc. and says, Indians are of a higher race because they have better houses, etc., etc. And apparently, according to his grandson, we found, he said that he used to lie with pubescent teens or pre-teens, naked pre-teens. He used to sleep with them, lie next to them, whatever, to see if he would get a boner. Maybe he's trying to suppress lust or something like that. Okay, that's all in the supposed history of Gandhi, right? So yeah, and they reckon, conspiracy theorists reckon he was a puppet and all this sort of stuff. But who knows? Go do the personal research on Gandhi and find those facts, establish those facts as actual fact. The evidence, let the evidence prove itself, right? Prove itself evident, and all those claims as established facts, irrefutable or infallible, right? You have to go do your own personal research on that. Okay? The truth of God is not secret, he says. This guy Jean. There's white people or European people that come up to the campus and say to him, am I the devil? And he says, yeah, let me prove it to you. Back on Florida Avenue, the ICGJC's evangelists are trying to do just that. They condemn political participation, saying Barack Obama, former US president, was in league with the devil. They call out the heathen races, Chinese, Japanese, whites and Africans. Holding up a poster of a white Jesus, they call it the image of the beast. Okay. Beast is, in the ancient Aramaic or the Hebrew, is nation. It's not a single figure or a race. Yeah. It's an image of the beast, this nation there, this great empire, world empire, right? This false church, etc., etc. They're twisting the scriptures to suit their own ideologies. Yeah, I've seen a lot of their videos, and white or European people walk past and say, yeah, that's right, cracker, or this racial slur, right? One of the, I think it's General Johan, I think he might have got arrested and went to court for yelling out racist slurs in some American city. Yeah, they do that sort of thing. Hassle European students, Jews, etc., according to those videos. Meanwhile, the unit's foot soldiers work the sidewalk, trying their pitch on almost anyone. Kids with backpacks on their way home from school, old women, even drunks, just so long as they're black or Latino. An Israelite with dreadlocks and earbud approaches a young man walking by in a red city year jacket. He hands over a flyer and starts talking. Within minutes, the two men have shifted into debaters' stances, leaning forwards, hands spread open, eyes locked. The city year recruit explains that his mother is Jewish and his father is black. That must make me the ultimate Jew, he says, grinning. His word reacts with a no-nonsense grimace. It makes you a real ethnic Jew, he says. To prove his point, the proselytizer tells a parable about an apple seed. If you plant the seed over here, he says, pointing towards Florida Avenue, what will grow? An apple tree, the young man says. And if you plant it over here, he gestures in the other direction, what grows in an apple tree? The young man repeats, chuckling. I'm going to peace out on that, he says, and hurries to cross with the light. That's kind of a weird scenario, isn't it? Concept. Carlos Santiago spends about 20 minutes talking to a man in a leather coat who's been taking notes since the street sermon began. After Santiago leaves, the author asks the man what he thinks of the Israelites. His name is David, and he says he lives nearby and comes out to listen whenever the unit sets up. He thinks they get things a little wrong, but says he always learns something from the passages they mention. Yeah, that's true. There's some truth in their falsity there. He also attends Sunday services at the United House of Prayer. He's not the first person the authors met who takes what they want from the Israelites and leaves the rest. What they call that? Cherry picking. David wanders off, leaving two stalwart fans in front of the stage. The men, who look either drunk or high, waver unsteadily in front of the amp. It's not clear if they are feeling the Holy Spirit or simply unable to walk. So we hope that you find this video interesting. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe to our channel, add your comments. We'll get back to you on those as soon as possible. And then go share this video with all your Christian, Islamic, Jewish friends, telling them about us, the ministry of the real truth. We bring you the real truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth. And we'll leave the link to these articles, etc., below this video, so you can look at them